How's it going, guys? From a beautiful Monday morning in the western mountains of Maine. Let me tighten this up a little bit. Went out on sled this morning to break some trails, but now we're gonna do a little work. I've got an infrared sauna question today. It has to do with what are the top rated infrared saunas for 2019 and beyond. Title is, what are the best rated infrared saunas that you know of with no electrician required? Hi Matt, thanks for all the reviews. It's still a lot to read through with brain fog. I'm looking for a two-person sauna, but it's not clear to me which saunas that big can work on a regular house wire. Really good question. I'm so glad that you asked this. It says, we rent a single-family home, so changing the panel is out of the question. We just need a far infrared that's big enough for me to stretch my legs out and occasionally have hubs join me, but mostly just me. We only have about $3,500 to spend, but I guess thinking about it the way you explain it in other videos, we could go up to $4,500 if we have to. So we only have to buy it once, like you say. Hope to hear from you. Okay, really good question. This comes up a lot because obviously people, myself included, we're not electricians and we don't deal with, you know, power panels and things like that and how overloaded a particular house is or what an old house with old wiring can support. And so this came up a lot in my old videos, but it's kind of buried in like 30 or 40 minute long videos. So I'm so happy that you asked this. The long and short of it is most two-person saunas that aren't super fancy, that don't have overloaded heaters and aren't really expensive, most of them will work on a 15 amp house circuit. Now in the United States and Canada and some other, you know, neighboring countries, generally most house circuits are 15 amp and smaller. So a small little room, like a bathroom or something, if it's a tiny one, may have a 10 amp circuit, but generally you wouldn't find a 20 amp circuit anywhere in the house except for in the garage. And that's usually for garage door openers, for bigger appliances like in the kitchen or something like that. And obviously we're not going to be placing a sauna anywhere in those spots. So really what you're asking for is a 15 amp sauna, basically the biggest 15 amp sauna that you can get, that's not going to break the bank and it's still going to work good for you. So I think there's a couple of good options in your budget, both on the lower end and the higher end. So it's up to you whether you want to spend a little extra for the creature comforts. But yeah, like you mentioned in there, one of the mistakes that I made was one of the first few saunas that I bought. I was a little leery about it and I wasn't really sure how it was going to work out for me. So I didn't want to spend, you know, a ton of money in case it just bombed or I didn't like it or I had it for 6 months and then I found myself not using it or whatever. The exact opposite happened. I got it, I loved it, it started helping me. Everything was great. The only mistake that I made was I should have spent an extra $500 or $600. Actually, I think it was $400 more at the time to get a two-person instead of a one-person. So I'm kind of a bigger person, and so it would have been worth it for me because if it's something that I'm going to use for the next 5-10 years or for the rest of my life, you know, it's $500, $1,000 is not that big of a deal to have extended comfort over a number of years. You know what I mean? So I would definitely recommend going with a two-person minimum for what you're describing. If you and your husband are going to use it, and you don't want to go with a really narrow two-person either. So a couple of two-persons that I have back at home, obviously I don't have the saunas with me here at Grandma's cabin on this trip. But if you watch some of my other videos, you can kind of see I'm a broad-shouldered person, and in a couple of them, like the Clearlight Premier, the Radiant Health, and also the High Tech Health, any of the three on the certified saunas list actually would be a great fit for this, except I don't think the High Tech Health will meet your budget requirements. So I think the cheapest one and probably your best option would be the Radiant Health. If you use coupon code MattJustice-500, that'll get you $500 off. You can go to the certified saunas page on cleverleverage.com or just search for the list of certified saunas, and you'll find the direct phone number there so you don't have to jump through any hoops. They're super cool. If that's not exactly what you're looking for, Clearlight Premier has great saunas. The Clearlight Sanctuary is going to be a little bit out of your price range, and I don't think you need it for the things that you described that you want it for. So I would recommend, let's see, actually I take that back. I made a mistake there. The Clearlight Sanctuary is not a good option for you in this situation because the Clearlight Sanctuary, the only sanctuary that works on a 15 amp circuit is the one person, and that's going to be too small for what you're asking for. As soon as you go to a two person, which is the Sanctuary 2, that's going to need a 20 amp circuit. So that won't work for what you're doing. However, the Radiant Health two person, I would recommend that sauna. That's one of my favorites. I think it'll be at the lower end of your budget. The build quality is great. It's really Don't you just love it when the battery dies right in front of, or right in the middle of saying something? I don't know where we were at. I think I was saying that the Radiant Health 2-person is probably the best fit for you. The price is within your budget and it's really easy to put together. Super low EMF, build quality is great. It's got all the creature comforts. It's got delayed start, it's got the heated bench, it's got the heated floor, it's got ceramic tile on the floor so you don't have to worry about sweat seeping into the wood and all that kind of cool stuff. I think I said it's one of the easiest saunas that I've ever put together. I know a lot of people kind of are a little bit hesitant. They don't know if they'll be able to do the assembly or they want to know how difficult it is. That one is one of the easiest ones. I highly recommend it. And the team over there at Radiant Health is super cool. They're not really pushy and all that kind of stuff. You know, some of the sauna companies, you just put your info in to get the pricing and then next thing you know, bang. And they just hound you until you know, it's like buying a used car. But Radiant Health is really good about that. My guys over at Clearlight with the Clearlight Premier, those are also good options. Like I said, I think the Radiant Health is outside of your budget. It's gonna be too expensive. It does have a bigger cabinet, works on a 15 amp circuit, but the price just isn't gonna fit for what you're looking for. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Both of those saunas will work on a 15 amp house circuit, so you do not have to hire an electrician to come in and put in a 20 amp line. If you went to a 3 or a 4-person, no sauna manufacturer out there has a 3 or 4-person that's adequately powered that'll work on a 15 amp circuit. So if you're renting and you can't hire an electrician, you can't do a line drop, and you can't add a dedicated circuit just for the sauna, that's pretty much out of the question. There's just no way around it. And please don't buy into some of these YouTube videos. People send me this stuff where, you know, a guy shows you how to use a 15 to a 20 amp adapter plug and then use these clickers to create some dedicated circuit or something in your house to accommodate a sauna. Don't do that. If a circuit breaker, never switch out a circuit breaker if it's not adequately powered. The thing is, you might be able to get away with it, but you never know how small the wiring is in the wall. So if you start overheating that stuff and you create a short, I mean, you could have a house fire. Don't be messing with the electricity in that manner. And definitely don't follow that advice that you see out there to use a 15 to 20 amp converter plug. That will do nothing more than overdraw the circuit. You'll probably trip the breaker, and if you do switch the breaker out, you're gonna overheat the line until it melts, and then we all know what happens after that. So I hope that helps you. I think that answers everything. If I missed anything, just let me know. But those two options would be the best. Those are the best rated saunas that work on a 15 amp house circuit with no electrician required. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.